at the Sundance Film Festival in Park City, Utah. We've just seen a film called The Hunting Ground about sexual assault on college campuses. One of the people who has championed the cause of the victims, the survivors, is Senator Barbara Boxer. Welcome to Democracy Now!
Thank you so much.
You're introducing a bill around this issue. Can you tell us what it is?
Yes. There are two bills, essentially. One is a very broad, comprehensive bill, which is very important. It's going to take a while to get done, by Kirsten Gillibrand. Mine is a very narrow but important bill that would say, until we stop this, we immediately need to have an advocate for the survivors on every single campus that gets federal funds. And that's, by the way, every campus gets federal funds. So it would say, on all campuses, you need to have an independent advocate. And what would that advocate do? They'd be available 24/7, so the minute something horrible happens, someone would have an advocate by their side, telling them their rights, putting an arm around them, leading them to the hospital, making sure the forensics were done, letting them know their legal options, and stay with them throughout the entire process. And what's exciting to me is I know how long it takes to get things through this particular Congress. So I took this idea to all my campuses, my public campuses in California, and they have agreed to do this. And it's exciting. The UC system, the state system, and the community college system.
And the larger bill that Senator Gillibrand has introduced?
Well, it's going to take a while because it really changes the penalties if a college doesn't really report the truth. It's pretty broad, and it gives them disincentives not to report. It's a little more controversial, but I think we can get it done because these stories are unbelievable. This is an epidemic when 20% of the women in college campuses are being attacked. And men are being attacked too, not in those large numbers, but still in all, it's happening to them too.
Now, this is also an issue you've taken on in the military.
Oh,
Can you
yes.
talk about the progress you did or didn't make around sexual assault in the military?
We have made a lot of progress in the military, but not enough progress. What Kirsten and I wanted to have happen, and we did get bipartisan support for it, was to take the whole handling of sexual assault in the military outside the chain of command, keep it in the military, but give it to professional prosecutors who were not in the chain of command. A lot of times the commander himself was the one perpetrating. A lot of the times the commander knew who was perpetrating and put order and discipline, in quotes, ahead of justice. So we didn't get that part done. But let me tell you what we did get done. I had a bill that was signed into law that when there's questioning of a woman who does report a case, you have to not ask her questions like, did you wear a provocative dress? How many sexual partners have you had? That's all out. You can't do it in a civilian, a grand jury, and now you can't do it in the military. Other things that were done is making sure there's an advocate for the complainant. So we have made progress, but the big and most important reform we haven't made yet, which is to take the reporting outside the chain of command.
And interestingly, one of your biggest opponents was another woman, another Democrat, Senator McCaskill.
Yes.
Can you explain why you disagreed on this?
Well, first of all, women are not joined at the hip. We have to understand that. They see things differently. And Claire, I think, was wrong. She thinks I'm wrong, and it's respectful. But it did hurt us because out of the 20 women in the Senate, bipartisan, we had 17, she had 3. And those 3 could have made a big difference. So it's a sadness for me, but it's her right to have a different opinion.
Many of those in the film, or a number of the survivors, the victims of rape and sexual assault, were from the University of California system, whether it was University of Southern California, UC Berkeley, San Diego, Santa Barbara.
Well, USC is a private college. It's not in the UC system. So let me make that clear. They're a private college, and they have some answering to do. And also, the UC system has some answering to do. You're absolutely right. Santa Barbara was mentioned, UC Berkeley. I think what's important is the makers of this film have said they could have chosen any campus So the reason I went to my campuses is I knew they were going to be mentioned in this, and I wanted to get out ahead of it, and I wanted them to start to respond. And I'm very proud to say, as a senator, you can pass legislation and you can also use your office as a bully pulpit. And a lot of times my staff will have meetings and will say, let's talk about the bully pulpit today. And what I did was I used the bully pulpit to go to the UC system, the state system, the community college system, and said, don't wait for us to pass this law. Do it now, and they agreed. Now the question is follow through, and I'm going to make a tour of these campuses in the spring to make sure that they are doing this advocacy.